Hey everybody, this is Sarah, and I am joined by the absolute wonderful narrator of the Darcy books, Bonnie Jean. Say hi.
Hello.
We actually met, what was it, 3 years ago now at Fan Expo
Yeah.
Boston?
Yep. Yep.
Yes. Yeah, she just came up to my table and I somehow like found you on Instagram and saw that you were a narrator, and I was like, this is perfect. And we've
And the
been
rest
working
is
together
history.
almost 3 years now, basically,
Exactly. Yep.
which
It's
is
been awesome.
crazy. And I don't know if I told you, but the Darcy books have been absolutely taking off here on YouTube.
I've been looking a little bit. It's so exciting to see that. And did you launch number two this weekend?
I did, yes, just yesterday. So for folks who were quite enjoying High Noon, when you get to the end, you can jump right into High Tide. I made sure that the title card is there to take you right on to Darcy's next adventure. So,
Awesome. No, I'm so excited to see that people are enjoying it there.
me too. So, can you tell me, just because I've probably forgotten and our lovely viewers don't know, how you got into narrating?
Yeah. So, I did a lot of theater growing up, particularly, middle school, high school, college. So I kind of had that background a little bit. And I've also been a songwriter my whole life, so I have some experience with home recording. So I kind of had a little foot in each piece of it with the acting part and the recording. And in college, I did a little bit of voiceover here and there and really enjoyed it. So it's something that I thought about for a long time that I just kind of never took any action. But, in more recent years, the equipment that you can buy to do home recording has just gotten so much better. So I think it was around COVID, when everybody was looking for projects to do at home. A good friend of mine had written his first novel, and I was helping him by being a beta reader. And I was like, I said it would be really fun to make this into an audiobook. So I asked him, I was like, if you're willing to work with me while I kind of learn how to do this, then I think it would be a lot of fun. So we did that collaboration, and although it was a long project because I had a big learning curve, it was awesome. And so I thought this is something I want to keep doing. So have kept on from there.
Well, I am very glad that you do. I was wondering, because I don't know that I know this. Like, when you were figuring out like Darcy's voice, what kind of was your process?
I It's a good question. I mean, I think I really just try to feel who she is from the text. And especially because it's first person narration, I don't want the voice to really be too different from my own.
Yep.
So, I feel like trying to do any kind of differences in pitch or anything is just, that's not sustainable for a 12 book series.
No, it
So,
is not.
yeah. So, I mean, aside from not having an American accent,
Sorry
she,
about that.
no, it's been super fun. I've loved doing that. But she doesn't sound too different from me. But yeah, I draw from what the text is telling me. She's very inquisitive.
Yep.
Almost she goes right up to the edge of being inappropriate, but she kind of like but not quite. Um and so, yeah, that's basically what I do.
Sorry, my son is popping in for a visit. Harvey. 1 second.
No problem.
Okay, and we're back. Life of juggling multiple things, including a child.
Exactly. Yep.
So you had mentioned that you also are a songwriter, and I know that you wrote like the intro slash outro music for Darcy.
Yeah.
What is kind of your process? Because I know you've talked about doing that with other projects too, because like that's kind of something you enjoy doing. So like, what's your
Mhm.
process of coming up with the music for that?
Yeah. So first I read the book, obviously.
Good
I try
start.
I try I get a sense of the book, not just the genre, but I don't know, this is a cozy mystery, so you kind of have a little bit of a feel of what that is. I will draw on influences from, movies and TV shows and things of like a similar type of genre. And then I try to get just like a concept in my head, almost a theme. I'll usually sit down at the piano and just kind of play around with some things. I'll like record a couple of melodies and, stew on it for a couple days until I find something that I really like. And then I start recording and I'll figure out the theme. I'll figure out the chord progression behind it, and usually record that. And then from there, I'll, think about if I want to layer things on top. And so I don't make them overly complicated, but I try to get something that feels like the book, if that
Hmm.
makes sense.
Yeah. No, I love Darcy's theme. So
I was happy with how it came out too.
so
It
fun
was
and
fun.
like bright and
Yep, but like, a little bit
yeah,
mysterious is what I was
exactly.
going for. But yeah, it's lighthearted, so you don't want something
Yes.
that sounds like dark and crazy.
Easy.
So
No, no, it's not quite that insane.
yeah.
Speaking of Darcy, though, um, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say like she's your favorite person to narrate in the series, but just I'm gonna presume that.
Yeah.
But do you have like another character that you really enjoy voicing in the series?
Yeah, they're all fun. They're all fun. I might give you a couple.
Oh,
I
good.
I
And I want
yeah,
to know why.
yeah, definitely. Darcy is my favorite, of course. She's the main character. She's leading everything, and a lot of the development is around her, so she's super fun. I think that Maggie might be my second favorite. And the why, I think that personality wise, she's the closest to me. And so I feel kind of a kinship with Maggie that I don't as much with the other characters. So I think she's right up there close to Darcy. Um, Another one that I enjoy and don't enjoy for possibly the same reason is which sounds weird, is Tyson, who doesn't have, he's not a large presence in the books. For people listening who have just listened to book one,
One.
is he
I don't even
is he was
I
he
don't
in
even
book
think
one
he's in
or
book one.
two? He
I think
might
he's in
not
book
be.
two.
Okay, well,
So
anyway.
you might meet Tyson if you're up to high tide, folks.
But I wanted him to sound kind of gritty, and have a lower register voice, and I can't do that on my own normally. So I get up in the morning, like before my voice sounds normal, and I record with like a froggy morning voice going on. So that's fun because I can make my voice sound different, and that's very enjoyable. But then I'm getting up at like 6 o'clock in the
In the
morning to
morning.
record,
And without caffeine, please.
which isn't great, but.
No.
Um, and then I think I'll add one more. I love Sam
I
because
was hoping Sam was in your top three.
everything that comes out of his mouth is sarcastic, and I just love that. That's fun. So, yeah, so they're my favorites, but I do love all the characters, for different reasons.
I'm honestly kind of excited for you to get to book six.
All right.
Well, I think you've read it.
It's gonna be fun.
If you could like pie in the sky like any other book series to narrate, what would it be?
Be- mm. Not a not a series, but honestly, I think I would say like anything by Jane Austen because I
Mhm.
just love her writing. I love wit and sarcasm, which is probably obvious from what I just said about Sam. So I've always I don't know. I've always loved her work. So yeah, that's way up there for me.
That is fun. Any book in like particular you would want to do? Like if you
I
had your pick of all of them?
yeah, one of my favorites of hers, oh, I'm gonna forget what the title is. She wrote something when she was very young that was like a history of England or something ridiculous. And it's so bitingly satirical. I don't know if it was even like published in a normal way. But I think that would be really fun to do. I'd say like Pride and Prejudice because that's the
The
classic.
obvious one. I'm like,
Yeah.
literally, I don't know a ton about her. Jane Austen, but I'm like, I know that that's one.
Yeah. Lady Susan is another one that I love of hers. But they're all brilliant.
Kind of jumping back to Darcy. So obviously this is going to be coming out in August. We've just released books one and two here on YouTube. And in quote the real world, we're getting ready to do book four, which is going to be out on retailers later this fall. Um, and I don't know if you've like fully started like prepping and everything, but if you can remember like anything you want to like tease for folks of like what's coming
Yeah.
there.
And I do have that one in progress. So yeah, it is fresh in my mind. I don't know if this is a tease, but I think one of the things I've liked the most about this book, it's obviously it's got the fun murder that they all do, but the Darcy gets to connect with family more in this one,
Yep.
and from a character development standpoint, I really like that because I feel like, we start out the series and Darcy's just moved across the ocean, starting a new life. And she's kind of like, yeah, my family disowned me, but here I am. And, she kind of like moves on from it almost, I feel like in a little bit of denial. And as we go on, we start to, it's coming out like it's bothering her that she's kind of by herself over here and starting from scratch. And so um she gets a little bit more of that connection, which I think is just really, really good for her. So I have wanted that for her, and I'm excited that that's part of book four.
I'm also excited that we get to see more of her and Maggie together. I
Hmm.
think that's when it like is official.
Yep,
Official.
yep, yep. They've gone on a real date. They're like
Like
starting to be a thing.
thing. Yes.
And that's awesome too, because that also is providing really good stability in her life, and like good things are happening for her, despite all the murder that she keeps seeming to
Right?
like having to deal with. Um,
All these dang dead people. Man.
she's getting a really solid base of community around her, which is great.
Yes, that was one of the important things I wanted to have in the series too, was just this sort of like circle of female friendship and female support.
Yep,
That's something that I really enjoy having in all of my books, regardless of whether they're the cozies or my fantasy.
yep.
That's kind of like what I love to write about. So,
One of the other things that I love that you do is Darcy acknowledges the weirdness that she keep like murder keeps happening in this small town, and she keeps getting like roped into it, because I feel like, you watch a series like Father Brown or
Murder She Wrote.
and it's like, that's just what happens,
Little
in
small towns,
town,
they're just full of
100
murder.
people. Yeah, like you'd think you'd run out of people by, the first season, but
Nope.
so I think I think it's important to have a little bit of realism there. It's good.
And I was actually, you mentioned murder. I was actually thinking about it, and I think so. I have, as of now, written the first nine books in the series, and I think of the nine, I think there's only two maybe that don't involve a murder.
Mm,
There may be some dead folks involved, but I think there's only two so far, and there may only be three in the whole 12 book series where there's not an actual like murder happening on
yeah,
the page. Which I feel like you gotta have a little bit of variety. I
you
mean,
do. You do for sure.
otherwise no one's gonna want to come.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, cozy mysteries. You kind of you know like the trope,
Oh yeah,
but
you
it's
suspend your
good.
disbelief, but
Yeah, but it's good to mix it up and have a little bit of surprise in there for sure.
Awesome. Well, I am so glad we got to do this.
Yeah, me too.
All
Thank you so
right.
much for inviting
And
me on.
I am going to make sure that I drop all of your social links into the description of the video, um, so that folks can come follow you and hang out with you on all the places where you are.
Awesome.
So thanks, everybody. And again, go enjoy High Noon and High Tide. High Fidelity Book 3 will be coming, I think, later this fall. So lots more Darcy to come your way.
Yay. Thank you so much.